The girl screamed in horror and a terrible thing happened. Hi friends, today I'm going to tell you a very scary story that happened in the Davis family home, 3 hours before the tragedy. It was an ordinary morning for the Davis family. No one had any idea of the tragedy that would unfold that day. Sophia and her mom and dad were going shopping before the holiday. But for some reason, Sophia suddenly had a bad feeling about it. It all started early in the morning when Mom woke Sophia up. Mom told the girl to take a shower and get dressed, and that Mom and Dad would wait for her on the first floor. Sophia did everything her mom told her to do and went downstairs to see her parents. This was the last time before there was grief in this family's life. Mom, Dad, and Sophia were driving to the store when suddenly an oncoming car flew into their path. Sophia's mom was taken to the hospital by ambulance. But the worst thing happened to Sophia. A few hours later, Mom was fine. The doctor gave her permission to go home, but the parents were very scared about Sophia. They asked the doctor where their daughter was, to which the doctor replied that Sophia was very ill and she was in the intensive care unit. Mom and Dad were very scared and quickly went to their daughter. The doctor said that Sophia is unconscious, but her parents can visit her. Sophia was lying on the bed. She was covered in abrasions and bruises. The parents were horrified by this. Mom and Dad often visited her, brought gifts, but Sophia never regained consciousness. The doctor said it was unlikely that Sophia would ever recover. 1 month after the accident, one day while Mom was cooking in the kitchen, someone rang the phone. Mom answered the phone and was very happy. It was the doctor. She said that Sophia had regained consciousness. Mom and Dad were very happy and immediately went to their daughter. Sophia was really alive even though her body was bruised. The family returned home and began to live their old life. However, the worst was yet to come. One day, Sophia woke up as usual and went to shower before school. The girl washed up, and on the way out of the shower, she saw something in the mirror. It was as if something appeared for just a second and immediately disappeared. Sophia was alarmed, but she didn't pay much attention to it. 6 hours later, after school, Sophia came home. It was late in the evening, as she stayed for extra lessons in her unloved math. Upon entering the house, the girl found something wrong. Usually her mom and dad meet her at the entrance of the house, but this time, there was no one here. Sophia went looking for her parents around the house. The lights were off in all the rooms and no one was home. Sophia got very scared and started calling her mom on the phone. But after a few calls, her mom still didn't answer. It was already night, and it was time for Sophia to go to bed. Despite the fact that she was very scared, the girl went to her room. When she went up to her floor, in the darkness, at the other end of the room, she saw something like a silhouette. Sophia was very scared and started screaming. The girl ran to the elevator to go down to the first floor and get a flashlight in the kitchen. Back in her room with a flashlight, the girl went to check the corner, but to her surprise, there was no one there. Sophia decided that she just imagined it and went to bed. But her sleep did not last long. After about 1 hour, the girl woke up from the loud sounds of breaking dishes, which came from the kitchen. Sophia was very scared, and in a panic she tried to call her mom again. While she was calling, the same figure she had seen earlier appeared in the shadows. The girl screamed in horror and a terrible thing happened. The parents came home in the morning. It turned out that they had gone to visit a friend, but did not have time to return home because their car broke down, and Mom's phone was dead and they could not call the master. Mom went to Sophia's room and was horrified when she saw what was there. Clothes, furniture, everything was scattered in different directions, and Sophia herself was not in the room. Mom was frightened, and together with Dad, they searched the whole house for the girl, but they found no trace of their daughter. Sophia's parents called the police to report her missing. After a week of searching, a police officer announced that the search had been called off because it had been unsuccessful. The girl's parents were terribly upset, and for a long time they searched for the girl on their own throughout the city. But their efforts were pointless. After the last search, at night, the parents returned to their home and went to bed because they were very tired. There was complete silence in the house, as suddenly somewhere upstairs the floor creaked. Only Mom woke up from the creaking. She was puzzled because there was no one else in the house except her and Daddy, and Sophia had disappeared a few weeks ago. She went up to Sophia's room on the 3rd floor to see what was making those noises. At first, when Mom went upstairs, she didn't see anything special. Sophia's things were still scattered, as was all the furniture from her room. But in the very corner where Sophia had seen something that looked like a horrible ghost a few weeks ago, there was the same silhouette. Mom was very frightened and began to call out to Daddy for help. But unfortunately, he did not hear the screams, and the fate of her daughter befell her. In the morning, Dad noticed that Mom was not around. At first, he thought she had just left for work a little early. But there was her smartphone on the table. She couldn't have gone to work without her phone, Dad thought. So he went to look for her in the kitchen to see if she was making breakfast. He had no idea what had really happened to Mom and Sophia. There was no one in the kitchen. After searching all the rooms where Mom could be, he decided to go up to Sophia's room, because Mom could go to clean up there. When Dad entered the room, he saw something terrifying. In Sophia's room was Mom and Sophia herself, but their skin was gray and their eyes were completely white, just like that ghost. They had become ghosts too. Daddy couldn't contain his selves when he saw them. At the end of the room stood that mysterious ghost. He slowly started to approach Daddy. Daddy wasn't scared of the ghost, but when he approached, something unexplainable happened. Instantly, Sophia, Mom, and the ghost disappeared. Dad didn't understand what happened. He thought the ghost was trying to attack him. To catch the ghost, he decided to stay in Sophia's room until midnight. When night fell, Daddy wanted to sleep very badly. And then when he was about to fall asleep, the ghost appeared. Daddy angrily asked, "What do you want from me and my family?" But the ghost just laughed angrily. There was a rumble. The lights in the room went out, and after a couple of minutes, there was no one in the room. This horror story quickly spread throughout the city. The residents began to panic because no one knew what to do with this ghost. The police wouldn't let anyone into the house because it was very dangerous. When the next night came, 2 policemen stayed on duty at the entrance of the house. They were both very sleepy, and one of them asked the policeman named Jake what he thought about the ghost. Jake laughed out loud and then said that the ghost was doing everything right and he wouldn't want to hinder him. Jake's partner was really scared by what he said. "How can you be on the side of the ghost when he is very dangerous and kidnaps people?" asked his partner. And then it all became clear to him. Turns out that Jake was actually that horrible ghost. He disguised himself as a policeman to keep the real policeman from catching him. The partner was terrified, and after a few screams, there was a terrible silence in the house. All this time, the main villain was the man who was supposed to help find the ghost. When the remaining policeman who was left guarding the house outside heard the screams, he immediately called for reinforcements. Helped by a ghost who was kind and helped people instead of kidnapping them. They entered the house together. Now the first floor was a mess as well, just like Sophia's room. There was no one at the entrance to the house, so they went inside. The policeman and his assistant checked the kitchen, but there was no one there either. When they turned back, they saw 5 ghosts right at the entrance of the house. There was a noise that lasted only a few minutes and then silence. There was no one in the house. No one knows what was going on in the house at that very moment. Whether the good ghost defeated the evil ghost, we will never know. Now the Davis family home has become a place that all the townspeople avoid.